We're livin'.
We live.
Is this the real deal, or is this
This is it, yeah.
is this a test?
Well, I guess everything's a test at this point.
Should tell Kat to tune in.
Yeah, we're live.
We are live, yep.
We should. Hey,
Well-
Share it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Welcome, Universe, to Project Ion, Episode 1.
yeah.
My name is Kyle Grems.
Yeah.
I'm an 8th grade teacher at ELC school.
Don't listen to him. He's gonna say everything that's awful and then claim it's me. So he's Jimmy Rosendahl, attorney at law.
You know, okay. No, I'm not. Believe me, I'm Kyle Grems. I really am okay.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, Kevy?
My
Sorry.
name is Kevy Kev, or Kevin. So I'm like a teacher at the college here in Esterville. So that makes half of us at this table educators, which hopefully doesn't dominate the convo too much. But yeah, it's good times, and that's what I do. Hey, Shepp, how are you?
Hey, I'm Jesse Shepherd, or Shepp, owner of Shepp's PC Repair. I do residential and commercial computer repair.
And I am the real Mr. Kyle Grems to you. And I am an 8th grade teacher. I am the other educator on this panel. So,
How do you feel about differentiation, Mr. Educator?
I wasn't brought on this cast to talk about education.
Oh, I think you were.
No, I'm not getting into this. We're like less than 3 minutes in, and we're already talking about
So,
differentiating.
instructional scaffolding. What's your position?
I don't have one.
I'll have you know we did an entire day of faculty development at the college, and not one word of differentiation or unpacking of standards. It was glorious.
Yeah, must be nice.
Assessment was uttered multiple times,
Yeah.
but nothing like you describe. How many days of in-service are you subjected to?
I think we had 5 or 6. I think it was 5 this
Oh.
year. Yeah.
I will not complain about my one.
No. Nope.
Yeah, that's a lot of in-service.
How many days in service you get, Shepp?
0.
Yeah. Do you go to any like conferences or anything during the year? Like,
I haven't lately, no. But I need to, yeah.
that'd be cool.
Is there like continuing ed type stuff? Is that what
Yeah,
the...
actually, I do like belong to a malware like training thing. There's like a webinar. Yeah, webinar.
Yeah.
Every week or every month there's a webinar, and we go over all the latest viruses and there's usually
Gotcha.
a guest speaker. They're talking about their product to sell. So
What's big now? Is there a main threat that's sweeping the
it's
nation?
mainly like the pop-ups when you're browsing the web. You
Ah.
get another tab that comes up from one of the little ads on the page you're on. And it comes up and even they talks to you. Says
You've won.
virus or,
Yeah, you've won something on Amazon.
or you there's some naughty sites. Or,
Right. Well,
Bloody seconds.
leads me to my next question, Jesse. So this friend of mine has got a computer that is way bogged with tons and tons of prawn. And it won't even boot up. It's got like blue screen of death stuff. So can you fix it for my friend?
I'm sure I can. Can always
Okay.
reload Windows, back up
Sure.
the battery, reload on the Windows.
You always have the nuclear option, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty
Good
easy this
deal.
way.
Yeah.
I've got a question, Shepp. What is the worst computer issue you've ever had with a client? Like the one that's just like you rethink about everything in life. You're like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Not that you don't know what you're doing, but like what am I-
Reconsider your profession.
Yeah, why am I doing this?
I would say when they have a bunch of like junkware and viruses, which is sometimes it's pointless cleaning up. So it's just
Right.
takes
So
forever to clean out.
So, like, if you get a computer like that, do you just clean sweep it, or do you try? and
Usually I
remove?
try to clean it up, but then
Yeah.
sometimes it messes up the Windows files.
Sure.
And just corrupts everything. So it's just better to wipe it out. And,
Yeah, just start fresh.
or when you're trying to troubleshoot something and then you're searching through the web and trying to figure out how to fix it,
Yeah.
but ends up being something simple. You've been on there for I don't know, maybe an hour 2 hours trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I really get frustrated.
Ooh, I have a question. What's the oldest PC you've ever
Oh,
worked
man.
on? Like, are there some dinosaurs out there?
Windows 95.
Yeah, I think I've had one 195.
Oh, man.
Wow.
And usually XP is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
No
10
longer
years
supported,
plus,
so-
isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
at
XP
least.
isn't
I
even
still see a
supported
few,
anymore.
but not too many. And Vista, there's still Vistas out there.
May God have
None of
mercy
those are
on their
supported
souls.
anymore by Windows, so you can't get Windows updates.
Yeah.
Right.
And then all the browsers are outdated because you can't update those to the latest browsers.
Sure.
So it's just a big security risk.
How's is Windows 7 still supported?
Yep. Like
Is
up
it?
till
Okay.
2020 if they don't extend it.
Okay. 'Cause I
Couple more
dabbled
years.
in Windows
I'm sure they'll
7.
still. I mean, I'm sure they'll be extended
Sure.
somewhat.
Sure.
You know,
All the compies at work are Windows 10 now. First
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
It's Windows
Yeah.
10's a lot better than when it first
Yeah.
when they pushed it out the
Sure.
first time. It's a lot
Same.
easier.
Maybe you computer guys can answer this for me, but like it seems to me that the computer thing is constant reinvention of the wheel all the time.
Oh yeah.
Gee,
So-
it sounds like
Something else I know. Yeah, no, but seriously, like you get used to. I was used to running like Microsoft Word in school
Yeah.
on whatever version we had, Windows
Yep.
XP, I suppose.
Yep.
And the whole thing looks totally different, and
Yeah.
the features are different, and
Well, they came out with Windows 7, then they obviously came out with Windows 8, which was almost like the like Windows Vista. Pretty much, Windows 8 was like the pre-Windows 7.
Yeah.
Like Vista was pre-Windows 7.
Oh, yeah, Windows 8. I
Before they
forgot
did all
about
big
that.
updates. And that's all Windows 8 was pre-10, and then they fixed a bunch of stuff.
I forgot all about Windows 8.
Well, then they had
Yeah.
8.1, but that was
probably
just
a
like
good
a service
thing.
pack.
is
I-
sorry, go ahead.
I was just to say, I heard something like that 95% of Microsoft Office users use 20% of the features,
Oh yeah.
which haven't been touched since like
Yeah.
Word 93
I
or
agree with
something.
that.
You're telling me I'm not going to broadcast live with my Xbox One in Windows 10 with an Xbox I don't own?
I mean, I haven't.
People could still use XP if it was still supported.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally would.
Because mainly people use is the web nowadays.
Right, right. Just give me a web browser.
Yeah.
I don't even need an
That's why there's
operating system.
Chromebooks,
and
yeah.
That's why all those of them are getting popular now.
Yeah.
Web and email.
Right.
Well, yeah, but so
Even
it,
email's not big anymore. I mean.
is all that change just literally a money grab from the computer people to
Oh,
try
yeah.
to
I
just
think it
totally cover as wide of a swath of users as they possibly can and force them into
Yeah.
upgrades?
So I even
and-
heard they're going to start with Windows 10. They're going to start charging like a monthly or a yearly fee. for that.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
so much of this stuff is subscription based now.
That's the way I think it's gonna
Office
be.
is, the Adobe Creative Cloud is, for
Yeah.
Photoshop and stuff like that.
That way you
pay
get
monthly.
continued updates.
Yeah, and
know,
you don't
every-
actually own anything, so you can
Yeah.
pay the subscription fee for 20 years and stop,
Yeah.
and then you don't own a single bit. You own the work you produce with those programs, but you don't own the programs.
yeah. I don't really like that.
I have mixed
You know?
feelings on it. It's easier to push out updates.
It's mainly the updates is the big thing.
yeah, yeah.
So explain that to me.
So you never have to pay for updates. You're always paying for one monthly or
Okay.
yearly fee for it.
I see.
Interesting.
But obviously,
Yeah.
if you can't use the software anymore if you stop that service, and you
Yeah.
have old stuff you want to look up again, you can't go back. And,
Sure.
But it's good if you have, say, a project. One project is going to take you a month to do. You pay $20, you
Yeah.
get the software for a month, and then you stop.
Yeah,
and,
that's
and that's it.
yeah.
But yeah, there's advantages and
Oh, yeah.
drawbacks to each model. But
That's the way they're going. I mean, it's monthly,
Yeah.
monthly or yearly fee.
and I think these companies have realized that they've improved their products so much that there's nothing left to improve.
Yeah.
And so, just like you said, Jimmy, it's just a money grab because they don't know how they're going to make
Yeah.
money anymore. So,
Right.
plus a subscription model is like guaranteed income for these companies
Yes.
every month. They can make more accurate projections and things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like speaking of which, we should maybe get in on the same thing, start a little Patreon for our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And,
That's what everyone's.
yeah.
Contribute to our Patreon.
We've got some very scandalous content that is currently
News.
hidden right now.
we don't.
And attention, all eighth graders.
Wasn't me. No.
If you sign up and become a Patreon, Patreon, you can
Patreon.
get unfettered access to some scandalous material.
No.
Project Ion After Dark.
Exactly.
The R-rated version.
Yeah.
Mature audiences only.
Yeah, there you go.
or something.
Yeah.
Man.
How's the law office doing, Jimmy?
Pretty good. Yeah, I've got a few areas of my practice that I'm not thrilled about. It's court-appointed stuff that you sort of do just to kind of get steady billing, basically. Because when you first start out, of course, solo practitioner type small office situation, it's up and down.
Okay.
But yeah, the things that I'm doing that I'm interested in, I'm pretty excited about. But
And
yeah.
what would that be?
well, I'm doing some agriculture projects. I've been doing a lot of real estate work, some estates, estate planning, that sort of thing. And then a little bit of just sort of whatever comes in the door. There's always those oddball, small little nickel and dime projects that come in that it's nice to tackle for people, and it helps
Get your
out the
name
community. It
out.
helps get my name out there. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping the court appointed thing can fade over time.
Sure.
Do a little bit less and less of that. Although, I mean, one kind of thing that's fun about it, I guess, is that it's always something crazy happening. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of exciting. And I don't know. People are idiots.
I wonder if you've heard about this, and Jesse, you might
It's the
have
same
input
with
too.
My job too.
I heard that in Esterville, there's so many like bad landlords and slumlords
yeah.
and things that actually the police are now going
I
from
heard that.
rental to rental and inspecting these places to make sure everything is up to code. And if it's not,
Yeah.
shut them
I
down or
think
whatever
so.
they do. But
There's
is
a lot of bad places,
there any truth to that? Is that happening?
Yeah.
especially rentals.
Funny enough, yeah, I looked into that a little bit recently. There's provisions in the Esterville city ordinance about inspections, and they employ it's a police officer, I think, that does double duty. He serves as like a detective and then cop, and then also rental housing inspector. And they've got checklists and codes and things, and there's stuff that you have to do for like minimum kind of warranties of habitability that the landlord is going to furnish to the tenant regardless, and it's your simple stuff.
Yeah.
No holes in the roof,
So they just started
heat,
that, or
electricity. That's like, you can't not provide that kind of
Yeah.
thing and have somebody living in there. But then on top of that, there's all sorts of regulations and so forth from the state in terms of fire and smoke detectors, and the electricity stuff has to be up to snuff, and running water and all of those sort of things. So there's really a lot of material that they probably check through. And I suppose the average person might be surprised at kind of how cruddy a place could be and still
Yeah.
pass.
I
But
imagine.
yeah.
as long as like the bare bones are there, it's all right. But yeah, it's definitely a thing, and they are going around and they do inspections, and it's like on a rotation. I think a landlord will get inspected every couple years, something like that. I
Okay.
want to say, and it can happen more often upon request, I think.
I'm sure.
So, yeah.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't really feel like it's an example of government overreach. It's a bad thing,
No,
really.
I don't
yeah.
either. I mean, it's so funny what you were saying. Shepp. In order to have a decent apartment in Esterville, you have to have a lot of money or like need assistance, and then you can get a nice place. But if
Yeah.
you're like in the middle, then you're out of luck.
Mm.
That's too bad.
Or seniors too.
Seniors, that's what it was. Yeah, a senior or needing assistance.
Yes.
What's the average rent? I don't even really know off the top of my head. Is it in the 500 range ish,
Oh,
or
man. A few
don't know.
years ago.
Probably around there.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Maybe when were we living together? About 5 years ago, maybe? Maybe a little less.
Yeah.
Something like that. It
Probably less
was
than that.
$450 for a
450?
two-bedroom.
Yeah.
Which, they were nice apartments. It wasn't
Well, them
like...
were nice.
Yeah, it wasn't the Taj Mahal, but it definitely
One of the
wasn't...
nicer ones in town.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the worst around for sure. So, I don't know if you're living with somebody, that 450 is doable.
Oh, yeah.
but
okay.
to be a single and
Yeah.
trying to swing it, that'd be
Yeah.
tough. So
I suppose it would be. Well, Yeah, if you think how do they do those financial breakdowns from like a month to month for people to know whether or not they're in decent
income.
shape? Well, yeah, or like it's a thing where okay, no more than a third should go to housing, and then
Yeah,
you your other third is for food and
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
expenditure, miscellaneous expenditures, and that sort of thing. And then,
Right.
but how much do you have to have at the end of your paycheck after taxes and everything to make 450 or 500 a third? It's $1,500. What does that equate to then job wise and
Yeah.
hourly wage and everything? So
Right.
gives you an
Yeah.
idea, but would be tough sledding, I would think.
Yeah.
No,
for sure.
absolutely. And Spirit Lake, I don't know too much about that market, but we had this tiny little shoebox apartment. I think all of you had seen it.
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
It was like 2 tiny rooms, and then just stuff piled everywhere. But
Mm-hmm.
that little sucker cost us like $550 a month.
Jeez.
They were brand new places, retiled, recarpeted, refurbished, everything. But that was outrageous, and we quickly realized that our mortgage payment would be that, only a
Yeah.
little more.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, why are we paying this guy every month, having our money go nowhere, and
Right.
might as well invest it in a place. So,
Yeah, and I think at the time that made a lot of sense. With you probably got locked in on pretty low interest, didn't you, Kevin? When you
Yeah.
bought, it was
that was screaming good. It was
Yeah,
3%,
right.
Jeez, like flat 3, and that's about it, as low as I've seen it. I've been watching it a little bit, on
Yep.
and off over the years, and that we were really fortunate to get it at what we did.
yeah, it's
So,
a buyer's market, big
Definitely.
time. We don't really go down much from 3%.
no, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I think it's up a couple percentage points now, but still, historically, if you're 5%, 7, that isn't bad
Wow.
at all. I mean, I
Yeah.
think in the 80s they were lucky to get 12, 15.
Jeez. Yeah, and it makes a difference. They talk
Huge.
about like 3 or 3.5%. Even that makes a big difference in your overall how much you're actually spending on the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on your loan term, I think if
Yep.
you can refinance and get a percentage point,
Yep.
0.5% percentage point off,
Do it.
it makes sense to refi for sure.
Oh, show.
Yep.
Does anybody have any experience like with Twitch broadcasting?
My students do.
Okay. I'm wondering if you
I
can
don't
do
know.
that on your phone. Like if you
Yeah.
can broadcast on. I know you can watch on your phone, but if you can broadcast, because Twitch just has like a pool of viewers who kind of flip through a feed and view something. So if we could
Sure, there's an
broadcast.
app. I know you can do it on a computer. I mean, you've got
Yeah.
a computer and the webcam and stuff.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Broadcast to Twitch, and then it's a live feed.
Same
like this,
thing,
but
yeah.
I think it'd reach more of an audience, just
Then people can see,
watching
yeah.
randos.
Mhm.
Flipping through.
Yeah, I think in order for somebody to see this, they got to be a sub, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're popular enough to get on the front page, it'll have like a live now section.
Oh, okay.
And you can find them that way, but
Yeah.
we're a little ways off from
Yeah.
that.
Or
Yeah,
share it,
right.
if you share it on
Or
your
if you share
social
it.
media.
It's a pipe
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea. I think we
Yeah.
should look
Yeah.
into that.
Twitch has like IRL channels where they're just it's people like this just talking.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, yeah, because that was my question. Is I thought it was pretty much just gaming,
Yeah,
but if
yeah,
there's
it's
other
gaming, but there's more.
if
Than
there's
that,
other
yeah.
stuff, that's great.
Yeah.
People saying, I mean, anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
so
Yeah,
do
we'll
you
have to
do here?
we
look
might
into
have
that
to dress
stuff.
scandalously to get some viewers, but
Well,
Yeah.
I can wear
yeah.
a sports bra or something. I suppose.
yeah, what's the formula if you're one of those like gamer chicks? You just make sure your tits are in frame and
Pretty much.
You got viewers, yeah.
yeah,
Doesn't
But,
matter
like-
what game you're playing.
right.
Put cat ears on your head and make sure your
Yeah.
hair is like
Yeah.
purple or
Cool
something.
background. There's some
Yeah.
lights in here. Some
Crappy
Pikachu
cosplay.
Cosplay. That's what I'm looking for.
Here I am playing World of Warcraft. Yeah.
Pretty much.
So speaking of World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
how's that going
It's
there?
awesome. I love it. Love
Yeah?
every minute of it. Been playing a lot lately.
There's
Yeah.
an expansion that came out recently. Is that right?
Battle for Azeroth.
All right.
It's beautiful. Beautiful X pack. Got a max tune already and
And what's a tune?
a character.
Oh,
cartoon?
Yeah, like
cartoon.
you don't
Oh.
know. Mr. Oh, I don't play those nerdy games.
Yeah.
I'm just too busy.
Dude, RuneScape is where
Oh,
it's
yeah.
at.
yes.
Yeah, RuneScape. Yeah. That's awesome.
No, when I quit WoW for like the 5th time, and then I came back for the 6th time, and it hadn't gotten any more fun
Yeah.
than the previous time I quit, I was just ready to hang it up.
Well, to each their own.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time.
Sure. Hey, no judgments from over here.
Yeah.
Not from this side of the table. I don't know. It seems like it's all the same to me.
Yeah.
Our two big ones growing up were EverQuest and World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
and I prefer EverQuest only because the graphics are better, but you have to have a pretty beefy machine to run it. Whereas WoW, you can run on a potato.
Yeah.
But yeah, for gameplay wise, I just feel like they're both basically the same. EverQuest might have a few more mechanics to it,
Yeah.
in depth.
A lot more character
experiences.
selection. And
That
stuff
too.
Like that, but
Yeah.
I just like WoW's story, kind of as it evolves over time. So, but no, I'm having fun doing my thing.
Have you started reading all those lore books that I gave you the other
Maybe
day?
I have, maybe I haven't.
Yeah.
What's it to you?
Well, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I know I brought them all to school and
Nice.
trying to recruit some
The Sunwell.
kids to
Yeah.
join the world of Azeroth.
Yeah.
I will tell you to enjoy it now with a small child.
Yeah, I
Right?
know.
Those hours after 7 o'clock, there's like the golden time.
Yeah.
It's like you cherish that moment, those hours every day.
Yeah.
Not that we don't like spending time with Lil, but it's like, yes, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
I could do stuff,
Mm-hmm.
my stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the first few months anyway, baby will be sleeping a lot, so I'll get
That is
some
true.
good leveling in.
Yep.
But,
And then they don't sleep as
yeah.
much. And it's like, holy crap, I have a child that I have to entertain. And
Take care of, yeah.
4 a.m.
Sponsor.
screaming.
yeah, last night, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Daddy was up changing diapers.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Maternity.
Yeah, totally worth it.
Oh, man.
You a gamer, Shepp?
Not big. I need to start playing something, but
You need to.
Yeah.
usually just watching TV.
Yeah.
A little bit of wow.
Yeah. I got a Super Nintendo upstairs, man. That thing's pretty sweet.
There we go.
It's a good game.
It's always a good
nice.
game.
Hell yeah.
Nintendo's always good.
Yeah.
The Nintendo's been coming out with those classic things that have got like
yeah, it's getting popular again.
yeah, like be maybe 25 or 30 or something of their best titles
Yep.
on some little tiny thing and
It got sold out too. I
oh
think,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's legit. They need to do that for 64. Then I'll be
Yeah.
right in my wheelhouse. Get like GoldenEye and Ocarina of Time and
Yep.
a few others on there that were good ones.
64 is probably my favorite system of all time. Then
Yeah.
PlayStation 2.
64 was,
Mm-hmm.
But
64 was the GOAT.
it was one of the first mainstream consoles to feature 4 controller ports, and that was always a blast.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had this. We had the Nintendo,
Yeah.
the Super Nintendo, and then PlayStation, the
Yeah.
original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4-player Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be
Majorly
Dark,
dope.
Perfect.
GoldenEye.
Yeah. Oh yeah. GoldenEye was great. Did you guys get into Halo much at all?
I
or-
did, yeah.
It didn't really.
Oh,
When I had an Xbox.
I played it a few times.
Yeah.
Did you do the LAN parties
Yeah.
thing a little bit? Yeah,
yeah.
I got in on a few of those.
TVs everywhere.
Yep.
Cords running
I
all
think I
over
went
the
to one of
place.
those too. Yeah.
It's good times.
Steve Iverson's basement.
Yeah.
It was just CRT TVs everywhere
Yeah.
with cords, and it was all dark in there except for the glow of the televisions. People in other rooms doing the same thing
Yeah.
to prevent screen peeking.
I
It's good times.
can still see it today.
Yep. In my mind's eye.
It was always Gordy, Steve, and Ben Messer on a team, and they just wreck everybody.
Yep.
Oh, those noobs.
Yeah. Good grief.
I tell you.
Yeah, the winds have blown those guys all over the place, haven't they?
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Didn't Gordy wind up in like Alaska or something? And then
Yeah.
Ben Messer is like a lawyer in Washington D.C. and
Is he really?
yeah, he's a immigration specialist, I think.
Ben Messer?
Mhm.
I went to school with his wife, and she's teaching in like Okoboji.
No way, right now?
Yeah, yeah. So I wonder
Huh.
Maybe
if he works on monthly, or
I don't know. That my information is probably a little out of date,
okay.
but
What was her maiden name?
Williamson. Yeah, she's not. I don't think she's from around here, but
Gotcha.
Ben Messer.
Crazy.
Yeah, and Ben had a brother, I think, in my class. Yeah, I think that's right. But, yeah, no, we student taught together in the same building.
Okay. I have to look him up. Maybe
Yeah.
he's around. I don't think he's practicing. I know he's a lawyer for sure, but hadn't heard he's practicing around the area at all. It could be.
Get him on the cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him for 15 years. I bet. Well, maybe not that long. He was going to Iowa State at the same time as me, and I bumped into him a few times. I think that's probably the last time I saw him.
Jeez, college.
Yeah, right. Undergrad. Craziness.
Oh my.
Yep. What's the most popular program at the JUCO, Kebby? Is it
Community college?
Yeah.
Maybe.
nursing? Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would say probably nursing. Wind is always strong,
Yeah.
but not, I guess, as strong as it has been. But no, like, yeah, the Emmitsburg nursing program is always big. We're getting pretty big, the game design program.
Okay.
We had kind of a slump last year, but we're back strong. Yeah, it's got to be nursing. It's always been strong. We always need nurses, so.
Yeah, it seems like you always see job listings from. So.
Yeah. RNA, all those A's.
Yeah.
What do you need to do bedpans and stuff? Is that you have
butt
to have
wiper?
a butt like is that a CNA or
That-
whatever?
yes.
Yeah, okay. That's bedpans.
That's
Yeah.
bad.
That's bedpan.
Yeah.
It's called
No thanks.
BPA,
Bedpan Associates. Yeah.
of America. That's their union.
Take these bedpans out back and
Well,
Yeah,
turn on the
somebody's got
hose.
to do it.
How long have you been doing game design now? Is it
Game design I've been doing for 3-4 years.
okay?
I've been out there 7 or so.
But what did you teach the first couple?
Web.
Oh, web design.
I still
yeah.
do. It's just a week program,
Yeah.
which is somewhat disappointing because there's work for that in this area.
Yeah.
Whereas game design, you got to move to the left or right coast to do that work. But yeah.
Do you have any stories of students who are currently pursuing game design?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do,
Yeah,
Kyle.
okay.
No, we have a group that's doing a project for their internship. They were on KCAU News earlier in the summer. It was kind of a big deal. They came out and did this big video for the school or whatever. But no, they're doing their own indie game project, and I couldn't tell you what it's about. It's kind of like a MOBA, League of Legends kind of thing. But beyond that, I don't really know. It's kind of unique and original, so they could explain it better than me. But they're still working hard on that. They have their own team. They have office space here in Esterville,
Wow.
at that Studio 12 downtown. And yeah, so we'll see where it goes. And that's really cool because they're learning business, aspects of the industry, like how to start their own business, how to hire people, all that legal stuff. And they're learning the technical side. So we sent one of our guys out to OEI, the Okoboji Entrepreneurial Institute, for a week of learning how to be an entrepreneur and learning from like business leaders in the area and stuff and networking. And that was good for
That's
him.
good.
Yeah, he's going to bring it back to his team and share what he learned.
Are those kids still enrolled, or are they out of college?
They're almost I'm done with them. They're not taking any more technical classes, but they have a couple of generals to finish
Yeah.
up. So I still see them occasionally, and it's nice. Some of them are local, some of them are fairly close by. But
Gotcha.
yeah, they're working hard. They're learning a lot more than what I can teach in a 2-year program. So it's that real world experience, and it's nice because you can get your games on Steam for $100.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they'll take a small cut. The game engine will take a small cut that they used to build the project with, but it's pretty lucrative right now.
That sounds really cool.
Do it. Yeah, it's not a huge investment either.
It's
So
getting
not-
easy
Yeah.
to do. I mean, anything
Yeah.
anymore because of the web. So.
Yeah. The tools are free.
Oh yeah.
It's just, do you have the talent?
Hmm.
So they're gonna start up the IT program again? Or not?
I don't know,
Or
man.
computer type program?
That one that you went through?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
Emmitsburg.
in Emmitsburg.
I know they're not doing that. They weren't doing that for.
No,
long
and
time.
that's too bad too, because that's a program that you could really find work around here in.
Oh,
yeah.
Lord, Shep, we need all the help we can have at the school right now. There's
I'm
so many issues with the.
Don't they have people over there?
We have 2.
Interns or?
I'm sending an intern out
Oh,
your
yeah?
way here in the
Okay.
next week or so.
I had an intern there for one summer.
Yeah.
Apparently, all the network got hacked this summer,
Oh, Jesus.
so they had to rebuild it from scratch, which includes like printers and phones and the heating and cooling systems.
Oh my.
What about the iPads?
Yeah, iPads too.
iPads?
Yeah,
Okay.
Chromebooks or iPads or what?
God
We have
save the
Chromebooks,
iPads.
yeah.
They're supposed to be the secure devices.
I work over the Truman School, and that's what they have. Truman,
Yeah.
Minnesota. They have
Yeah.
Chromebooks.
How can you teach without an iPad?
I just don't know.
Chromebooks is the way to go. It's a lot cheaper for
Yeah.
Yeah.
the school.
Yeah, that's what we have here. But no, we were a day before school and we still didn't have printers because there was just, so much for them to do. So
So how'd they get hacked? Or you don't know the details?
they apparently the language was in Russian. So I don't know the details. I know they offered like identity theft insurance to us, and
Do they encrypt anything or you don't know?
that I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but we had to get. And that's why we have Windows 10 right now, is because they wiped everything and
Oh, okay.
Start over.
started over. Yeah.
Holy cow.
So
That'd be a lot of work.
for two people, yeah.
Did they lose any data? You don't know.
I don't know about that, but
We had a big infection at the college where it was a crypto locker
Yeah.
where it's like
That was big.
ransomware. Essentially, they infect your files and
Yeah.
scramble the contents. And if you try to open one, it's a JPEG image or something, it'll say, "We've taken over your computer. We've encrypted your files. Give us $300."
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
ransomware.
ransomware.
Is that
Yeah,
what it was?
yep.
And that happens
You can
all too often.
There's like free things you can unencrypt now.
Yeah?
A lot of people make a free ones where you can unencrypt.
Oh, okay.
Especially the older stuff.
Do you know if you give them $300, will they actually unscramble your stuff?
Most of them will.
Will?
But some of them won't.
Yeah.
Most of them will.
Yeah. Especially if it's like a hospital or, medical records where it's mission critical
Yeah.
data, then you would
Yeah.
be more inclined to pay them, I think. But
There was IT guy was telling us about this. There was a breach in, I think it was Ankeny this year, some Des Moines school, where it was ransomware, and they said, we have all of your students' personal information, phone number, address,
Yeah.
Oh,
all
boy.
that stuff. Give us such and such
Yeah.
amount of dollars, and it was crazy. They had the FBI in there working on it. And
did it get resolved?
I think it's still ongoing.
Okay.
It was just recently.
I mean, there's big companies that have done that too, and they end up paying the thousands of
Yeah.
dollars. Yeah.
Cheapers.
To get the data back.
That's crazy. It's just a different form of bank robbery, pretty much.
Yeah. That's why you keep backups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. People don't do that though.
No. The college does, but I still
Even though
lost
there's
some
cloud
data.
backup, it's pretty easy. You can set up now.
Yeah.
I've got
You
every
did.
song ever in a temperature treated room,
Yeah.
Yeah.
locked up.
I had a professor one time who I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. He's like, I have hard drives stored in my closet with all my music on them.
Yeah.
I remember the school used to back on tapes.
That was
it.
that was what I was
Oh,
trying to get
man.
out of you, Kevy. I was hoping to, because I knew that you had like some story about a crazy guy that you knew that like,
Oh, yeah.
kept his stuff and under lock and key, and it's like hard drives of
Yeah.
iTunes
Bubble
stuff or
wrapped.
something. Yeah.
Jeez.
The thing is, people don't save much data anymore. It's all. They all use web stuff.
It's all in the
so-
cloud.
Well, and that's the whole thing, too.
Also,
We were
your
just talking about.
pictures are usually on your phone or on Facebook or whatever. So it's not as bad nowadays.
Spotify. You
Yeah.
don't need to
Especially
own
for-
anything.
Yeah, like residential, like people.
I heard they got those fappening guys the other day. Like,
Oh, did they?
Yeah, like well, they knew who they were within, I don't know, maybe a year or something of the actual fappening.
So what was the fappening?
Well, Kyle, why don't you tell us about it?
No,
Pass
not
the buck.
explaining it. No. Jimmy knows all about
The
this.
fappening.
He was the one that actually witnessed the
Oh yeah.
scenario go down.
Yeah, I was cruising Reddit at like 4 a.m. back in 2014, and
As you
then all of
do.
a sudden here comes a fappening, and it was basically it's like, I guess all these celebrities had nudes and stuff in their cloud and however it works, so they got all this stuff compiled into this big thing, and it was some major celebrities that everybody would
Yeah,
recognize.
that's the only bad part of cloud too.
Yeah. but tits and all that good stuff. So, and it was just hundreds of pictures.
Jeez.
That was the other crazy thing. Just took like 20 minutes to scroll through everything.
I know.
Apparently from Kyle.
Gosh,
So,
you're crazy.
anyways, they got these guys, and it was like some dudes that are mid-20s, just computer geeks in Ohio or something. But I think a few of them pled down, and then one guy fought them and lost. So yeah, he's going to jail for a few months. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, thank God those criminals are behind bars.
Yeah.
I guess,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually doing a podcast when that went down, and I was doing my top Twitter trends, and I was scrolling through the popular hashtags, and it was like fappening or something, and oh, hello, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
right.
And then I refreshed, and it was gone. So
Oh, yeah. Dang,
they
man.
got it quick.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
that's-
did, yeah.
There's still some archives of people who saved,
course.
all the
Oh, yeah.
pictures and
Yeah, once it's up,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
never
Yep.
gone.
it's never gone. Yeah, it's too bad. They got to put that stuff in like the U.S. National Library, just make it public record. Because, I mean, come on. You can't unring the bell.
yeah.
So just let all the 17-year-old boys have their heyday and move on with your life. I mean, you make your career off your tits. And I mean, it's like, it's the deal. I mean, nobody looks at Kate Upton and is like, okay, I'm sure she's got a lot of deep thoughts on foreign policy or something.
Well, they'll
Sure,
pretend they do.
love to
Yeah.
hear all about it.
Yeah.
So maybe just accept the hand you were dealt and then be cool with it. And
Jeez.
everybody else can
Go ahead mansplaining, why don't you?
move on with it. Yeah, I suppose.
That's another thing that's pissed me off lately is these late night TV show hosts, where it's just turned into a big like lecturing session on how bad Trump is. And some of the jokes are funny, but they're always, like Colbert is the worst in my opinion. He tells jokes that I can tell are like mean spirited and mean hearted, and then I switch over to like Conan where he tells the same jokes essentially, but there's just not as much, I don't know, negativity
Yeah.
behind them or something. And it's like, I want to watch TV at night just to unwind, not to be lectured to.
Because we watch Saturday Night Live.
Well, I'm sure it's the same
The whole
thing, right?
is about Trump.
Right.
Especially in the beginning, like the beginning sketch is usually
Yeah.
about Trump.
And the
Don't you
award
think
shows.
He kind of puts it on himself a little bit, too?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Make fun of the guy all you want to. It's just like you can tell the vitriol that's behind a lot of this stuff. And I mean, I'll make fun of the guy as much as anybody else, but I don't know. I just don't want to be lectured to.
Well, did the late night comedians and so forth, did they rail Obama to the extent that they railed George W. and Trump? I mean, that's been
not to my
in my
knowledge.
adulthood. Yeah, I mean, because I
No.
recall with Bush, they would make fun of his inability to
Right.
put a sentence together and that kind of thing so frequently that everybody was thinking, oh, God, this guy's got like
Yeah.
he's like special ed.
Right.
And this is a similar program, I would say, with Trump.
Sure.
And Trump is Mr. Teflon, I guess. Every insult seems to slide right off of him, and it's more, okay, whatever, but all that stuff. And Kyle raises a good point, I think, that
It's well deserved,
it's,
in my opinion.
it's
His tweets
Yeah.
recently have
yeah,
just been...
the level of buffoonery is certainly there, but I think, to Kevin's point, it's sort of two sets of rules depending on
Oh, yeah.
your whether it's an R or a D after your name. One is fair game, and the
I
other
don't
one
think
is
so.
is all. Well, name
Finally,
name
conflict.
name a Democrat that they've made fun of to the extent of George Bush or Trump.
Okay, name one that compares to George Bush or
Well,
Trump.
that's not the question.
Sure it
Kyle.
is.
No, it's not. Name a
You have to
Democrat
have something to
that-
make fun of.
Well, how can you make a comparison like that with any two individuals? Everybody's a unique snowflake. But I mean, I can't think of. I mean, I suppose maybe if you go back to the '90s with Clinton and all
Yeah.
this sex stuff,
Yeah, that's
you could
funny.
maybe, but that's 20 years ago, and I can't really remember if it was to that level.
And when people did it, when they made jokes about that stuff, it was like, oh, haha, it's so funny. Not anger like they give towards Trump, at least based on my, watching of it. But
Well, I have a hard time thinking of anybody that's I mean, I don't think they made fun of like Elizabeth Warren or Maxine.
Maxine.
Auntie
Yeah.
Maxine. Why is she still talking?
Because
I
she's
don't
not
know.
president.
But well, they're certainly
the free
politicians
world.
and they're public figures, and
Sure.
they
And
I would say
are welcome to criticism.
some of that some of the buffoonery on their part is certainly worthy of criticism and
Absolutely.
but it's conspicuously absent from a lot of the mainstream comedy channels, and I think that's the point that I want to make. I guess is
Well, who's going to draw a bigger laugh? A joke about Maxine Waters, who maybe 20% of the population knows who it is, or a joke about the leader of the free world who tweets crap storms at 4 a.m.
well, what's the data to substantiate that? I mean, how do you know whether or not people? I mean, there'd be in any red state. I would think that if they made fun of a lot of Democrats, that it would be humorous to those people.
Sure.
But
I don't think we need to take a poll that more people know who Donald Trump is compared to Maxine Waters,
so the comedy is all about like
who's popular.
who's the most popular. Then is
Well, it's about who you can relate to or who you're familiar with. Because are you gonna get more laughs of making fun of Joe Schmo or Maxine Waters off the street, or making fun of somebody who's, again, leader of the free world?
well, I would think the best comedy would be the stuff that's genuinely funny.
Sure.
And
The stuff that gives you the most material, which I would argue probably is our
Al
president.
Sharpton.
Well, yeah, that too.
No, I think that race and gender probably does play into it too, because if I was a
I agree.
comedian,
Yeah, I agree
I'd
with
be
that.
terrified to make
Yep.
a joke about Maxine Waters because A, she's a woman, B,
Yeah,
she's
she's
an
black.
African American.
To that point, I think Louis C.K. just did his first stand-up since he was. The sexual harassment allegations were brought up against him. What, maybe a year ago, almost. And Louis C.K. is one of the funniest guys on the planet. And I don't know. I mean, it's baffling a guy that makes the jokes that he does can be silenced for an allegation. You know, I don't know if he admitted it or whatever. If he did, you know, obviously.
I think he
awful,
did
but
admit to some of that.
did he?
But his stuff, I never felt like it was that bad. It's like, you
But
know,
it's dark for sure.
well, yeah. I mean, what was he doing, jerking off or something? And
Yeah.
it'd be like female other writers that were female writers or something on the TV show. But I think I recall on one of them he asked the lady, he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I jerk off in front of you and you watch?" And she's like, "No."
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but how does that rise to the level of
Right.
sexual harassment or something?
And how does
when
that
a
silence
person
you for a year? I mean,
consents? Yeah, so that's puzzling to me.
but
But
Yeah.
I mean, on the spectrum of what's nastiness, I mean,
yeah.
in that department, I would say he's relatively low. Good old
Yeah.
L. Louis C.K. Yeah,
Not familiar with the man's work, but
Oh God, it's funny.
what
yeah,
just
it's funny.
pisses me off more than anything is the double standard and the hypocrisy. Like, the one thing I cannot stand in a person is hypocrisy, and I'm guilty of it just as much as anybody, but especially when it's as out there and as popular as mainstream media. It's just like,
Get your hate speech off this college. Get your hate speech off this college. Get your hate speech off this college.
yeah. And I'll read CNN every day just to check the headlines to see what anti-Trump thing is being said today. I mean, I don't remember that happening years ago when I wasn't political, but I would still check CNN for headlines, and it seemed like they would just present facts. But now it's like anything positive that the man does, Trump, they just have comma, but, ... Trump cures cancer, but something negative.
Don't forget about Comey.
Positives.
Yeah. Comey.
Yeah, well, and that's I find myself in this being sort of put in a corner where I almost feel like I have to defend Trump.
I know,
In
Yeah,
order
right?
to-
and that's awful. I shouldn't say
Like
awful.
if there's something that happens that I'm in favor of, then I have to defend Trump wholesale,
Yes.
which I object to thoroughly. That's ridiculous. You can take things piece by piece and analyze it how it fits in the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to do. Mm-hmm. As we become more polarized.
Yeah.
Yeah, November's gonna be interesting. See what happens.
Yep, I heard our representative. Well, maybe not for you, Kevy. I'm not sure where the line is, but for the Iowa House, our representative in Emmett County is this guy named Ted Gassman from
Heard of him?
over. I think he's from over by a couple counties to the east. And anyways, super conservative dude. And one of his platform points is he wants to make divorce back to a fault jurisdiction in Iowa, where essentially if you want to get divorced, you have got to prove fault.
Yes.
Jeez.
So you're talking like adultery or abuse or
Right.
something along those lines. So what it would, in effect, would make it way harder to get a divorce.
Yeah.
And I mean, it depends on how people feel about divorce. You may or may not have your idea, whatever. But I think people should have the liberty to be able to say, I don't want to be married anymore, and I don't need to justify it for
Yeah.
Yeah.
any reason other than I don't want to be married anymore.
That seems to violate the general conservative principle of do what you want.
Don't tread on me.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder what his argument would be for supporting
Yeah.
fault divorce.
I don't know. Yeah. There's hardly any states that have got fault anymore.
Huh.
In fact, there might be zero. I remember learning about it in family law, and they're like, well, this is sort of a
Moot point.
it's a kind of a backwards thing, and hardly anybody follows it anymore. I mean, it's like maybe Puerto Rico and Guam or something. But yeah, that would be bad. I don't think it'll sell.
No. Again, I always like to ask the question, what is the opposition's argument for X issue, or issue X? Because obviously maybe it's something more than what our naive feelings of it are, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always like to get all perspectives.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to see the other side sometimes. But
I think with him, it's probably religious
Religious, yeah.
only.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. And that's fine, but govern yourself according to your own.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if it's marriage or bust for you from a religious standpoint, then make your life that way.
yeah.
But you shouldn't impose it on others necessarily.
Right. Yes, indeed.
Last time I checked, weren't we talking about him one time? Isn't he like the chair of the ed committee or something?
Yeah, I think
Kyle,
I think I might have wrote him actually.
Yeah.
About something. I don't know what it was, but
Oh, I bet you remember the grievance. Why don't
I
you tell us all about it?
I don't. I honestly don't. I don't think I was even teaching. I think I was in an ed program at the time.
Can't be that long ago.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a draft laying around.
Yeah.
Do a reading here on air.
Well, I happen to have a copy
Yeah.
saved on my phone,
Yeah.
so we'll.
Outstanding.
Well, I won't get in trouble because I wasn't teaching at the time. So.
Oh no, I think you were.
No, I wasn't.
I think it was like a year ago.
No, it wasn't.
Come on, Kyle.
I think is how catastrophic our teacher ed programs were.
What do you mean by that?
How awful they are.
Teacher ed program, like
Like-
just becoming certified?
Yeah, or going to college and
Okay.
the classes and stuff you have to take that way. But they're just, I mean, have a maybe have an idea what you want to teach, get your generals and stuff, get certified for that, and then have like a year-long or 2-year-long field experience, because that's where you learn all your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to sit in an ed class for an hour a night learning how to teach this lesson. That does you no good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, what you just said, get your general education, get a BA in what you are interested in, then get certified. How is that different than what is done now?
Well, the BA would be in education.
Oh,
If you want to teach higher education, you have to have a BA in like chemistry or
Yeah.
biology or something like that.
higher education meaning college?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can, or high school. So
Okay.
if you want to just be a biology teacher, you can do it a couple different ways. If you want to just be a biology teacher, you can have a BA in biology and then a few ed classes.
Got it.
I don't know if it's a year-long process or what. Or if you want to teach high school, you have your degree in education and then get endorsed to teach high
Oh.
school. So, which still involves some more coursework in the field, but it's an easy route. I shouldn't say easy. That's the problem. it's an unappealing route for somebody who has a degree in chemistry or biology to become a high school teacher.
Gotcha.
And that's a problem because we need more chemists and biologists and physicists being teachers and not going somewhere else. But, you know, are you going to go through the rigmarole and the rigorous coursework, the hours and hours of studying and whatever to have a master's in physics or a master's in chemistry and get $45,000 a year at a public school?
It's like my
kids who don't want to be there.
in-laws have to have a master's degree out in Oregon to teach at the high school level. They have to get master's degrees and then certified in teaching or whatever. But yeah, not so here.
That's interesting. I heard a statistic one time that was like the highest in at the college level, the highest average GPA was in education. So if you were in like the in the College of Education at say Iowa State or something, the GPAs were really high. And I think the position of this was that it wasn't because everybody was so smart or something. It was just because the coursework was too easy and everybody was able to get a really high grade.
Completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an example? Like, what was easy about it?
Yes, I have an example, but I don't want to say it on air. I'll tell you guys off air. Let's see if I can.
Or on Patreon.
Or on Patreon.
Yeah.
There you go.
Become a Patreon.
Gosh, let me think.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to crap on online education by any means, but you could you could get an education degree online by doing, I don't know, maybe an hour's worth of work a night, probably, and that's an estimate, but the online classes, anyway, when I had them, were an absolute joke. I mean, it's post on a forum, pretty much, a couple sentences, and make sure you read this chapter. You know, your quiz is entirely online. Okay, well,
Open
let's
book.
Google those. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Now I see.
yeah, and I'm sure those scores account for the GPA, that the statistic that you brought up too. So it's just not rigorous enough, and that's what they tell you to make your classroom like in schools, to make it rigorous and relevant. Well, that class isn't. So
Yeah.
Yep.
But so more rigor.
Well, that's
More
too
rigor,
bad.
yeah.
It should be
Yeah.
tough. I mean,
Absolutely.
how can we expect to have the quality product from our public education?
you want to make teacher education, you want to make it tough. Give the teacher, you know, a year's worth of coursework, then throw them in a classroom and have them figure it out, because that's how you're going to learn. And have them teach for a year or a year and a half. Give them a stipend or something while they teach. You know, make them figure it out, because that's where I learned 90% of what I do.
Yeah, like I work really well under pressure. So if I know I have a due date or I have to get something done, for example, for a class, I'll get it done because there's no way out of it. Like you're forced to put up, to like
Forced
show
to
up
perform.
and do it and perform, or
Yeah.
there's no other option. I guess you could call in sick, but
Kids will eat you alive
Right.
in public ed.
so you do it because you have to.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, you're not going to learn to be a teacher by reading about how to do it in a book.
Right.
Well, and then how many ways can they show, oh, well, here's a different way to teach a thing?
Yeah.
I have been thinking, I got a little hypothesis going that everybody instinctually knows how to teach. From I tell you how to do something or show you how to do it, etc. And then everybody sort of instinctually knows how to learn too, because it would be, if you think about it, it's got to be pretty entwined in our evolution as social creatures to pass things along to somebody else and then absorb it the same way.
Well,
So
we do it to our kids all the time.
with that in mind, like, why would we be wasting a lot of time saying, okay, well, you know, if you use this fancy supplement thing, doohickey,
This app.
flashy app or something, I mean, then it gets to be more about the flashy thing and less about what actually matters with the transfer of information from one person to another. So
Sure.
Yep, there is the education tool market have excellent salesmen. excellent salesmen
Oh,
who
yeah.
come into your school and say, "Here's our data. Here's what the kids are learning. Buy this for $10,000 a year.
Right.
Sell a couple of those, you're set."
Yeah.
Oh, the things you can do with data.
Yeah, well, shoot, us four here should design some standardized test.
Yeah.
And Jimmy and I can pitch it,
Yep.
be millionaires.
Mm-hmm. Let's
Right.
cash
Guys can
in.
write the code.
Let's
Sounds
cash
good.
in.
That's crazy. I mean, there is so much stuff out there that schools use for like progress monitoring is what they call it. That is just absolutely asinine with how much it costs. And schools just chum it up because they have a budget, and if they don't use that money, well, the money doesn't roll over; it just kind of goes away. So it's kind of like a use it or lose it type of thing. And I mean, there's buco bucks to be made in the public education sector, which is sad because you don't pay your teachers crap. But
Yeah, use some of that go away money for teacher salary raises.
I mean, how many assessments do we need for reading? Jeez. But whatever.
Yeah, I agree with on-job training. Like same with my career. I learned more
Oh yeah.
on my own than went to school for IT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that's true for the law too.
For
Really.
anything, probably.
Yeah. I mean,
it's better working
Yep.
on-job training than.
Don't get me
instead
wrong,
of
you
school.
can't throw an electrician right off the bat, into a house and tell them to
No,
rewire
but
this.
yeah,
You got to
I would
have
get to
some
know the-
background knowledge for
Yeah.
sure, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
think-
to the extent of the education program, you need 4 years of education. Come
Well,
on.
and that's all theoretical.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Do you really need that much theory
Yeah.
for something that
Come on.
my argument is everybody knows how to do to begin with?
Yeah.
Probably not.
If you're a parent, you're a teacher.
Yep.
If you're a sibling,
Yeah.
if you're alive, you're a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Taught something in your life.
Apprenticeships. Are
Unless you're an
definitely-
incel.
Yeah.
An incel. Okay. My wife is hounding me here.
Oh, does that mean we have to quit or okay?
Continue warning about.
All right.
Should I tell her she's on the podcast?
Yeah. Plug her in.
Yeah, because even you do like internships, I don't even think most of the time you don't do them long enough to
Right.
learn much.
Right. There's an
Yeah.
hourly requirement, of
Yeah.
course, and there's a number of credits, and if there's a number of credits involved, that means the students have to pay to take the classes for those credits, and it's
Yeah.
all kind of just goes back to money
Yeah.
and financial aid, which is a joke. And it's Iowa Lakes has an open door policy, meaning any Joe Schmo off the street can come in and take classes
yeah.
from us, as long as you graduated high school. And if you haven't, oh, by the way, we can help you with that too.
Finish.
Yeah, the GED program, whatever it is. But I've always been in favor of having some kind of entrance exam, even if it's super minimum, bare bones kind of basic knowledge. And it goes back to my theory of like, if you throw a concert or you do a stand-up comedy show or whatever you're doing, say at a college, better to charge $1 or $2 to get into that show rather than just make it free. Because even if you invest $1 or $2, it's still going to make you take that performance, that thing, more seriously. And so with like education, if any Joe Blow can walk in off the street and just say, I'm going to go to college without any investment into it whatsoever, other than the financial, of course, but it makes them not take it seriously. They'll get money thrown at them from the government.
Yeah.
They'll get classes because they don't have to pass any exams to get into the school. There's no motivation. I
Yeah.
don't know. We need I'm not
I
even
agree
say
with that.
screen out potential students. Like screening out is not something I'm interested in. It's just some basic knowledge, like to get into
yeah.
college.
That's what
I don't know.
college is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's higher learning, higher education.
Hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Well, what do you think of the spread down here, boys? You
Nice.
Dig it.
That's
you
nice.
like it all right? I think
Oh,
this
yeah.
is going to be comfortable enough for podcast purposes going forward.
Could be our home.
Okay.
Yeah,
deal.
It's great.
Shoot, we've been going almost an hour
An
now.
hour.
Holy cow.
Nice.
Yeah, I better split here.
Pack it
real
in.
quick,
All
but
righty.
Be daddy.
Yeah. Project Ion,
Yep.
peeps.
Sign up for
First.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Support
Get you
Shepp's
some
PC
perks.
repair.
Support Shepp's, yeah.
Juicy
Thank
deets.
you.
A lot of juicy deets. Okay. All right. We'll go offline.
Later.
I need to get a remote for this thing,
Yeah.
if possible. I was thinking, though, like, we could make the actual audio version the good one.